grasp of the role that Limuru has played in Kenya's political landscape feel that the Limuru 3 event did not measure up to the expectations and to the caliber of the first two Limuru meetings, Limuru 1 and Limuru 2. Of what historical significance was this event that it had to be done in Limuru?
You want it from me?
Yes, Kione, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, so let's speak about the historical importance of this Limuru 3 event. And the question is that those with a historical grasp of Kenya's politics and the role that Limuru has played in Kenya's political landscape feel that this Limuru 3 event did not live up to the expectations and the caliber of the first two Limuru 3 events that took place. Why was it so important that it had to be dubbed Limuru 3?
I think those are some of the things you leave it to historians, right? They are the ones who do the analysis and leave it as that. We had intended to hold a meeting and we held it. The people we expected to come came, and we achieved what we wanted to achieve. Out of which yesterday we were in Thika in a place called the site, low key, no media, and we were together with the families that one family that lost their loved one through the shooting of incident that happened the same day we were having our meeting. And the other family now with one again of their loved one in a critical condition in hospital. And this 26-year-old guy who comes from Jeru in Nyandarua was shot, and the people there clearly are saying the person who shot them is the member of parliament for Gatundu, Kagombe, and you can also see from the videos. And what we intend to do now, out of our Limuru 3, is that we said we'll put together lawyers who will always be available to defend our people, because there is quite some atrocity that is being occasioned on the poor. And I can tell you, when we go to that family, they had given up. They were just going to take the body, transfer it to Nyandarua, bury it, and that's it. But we are going to get those who are responsible to account, because that was a thing, a heinous act that was perpetuated on the people by people they voted for. There was Aris Nganga, the member of parliament for that area. There was Chungwa, the majority leader again. We had Kagombe. Those are the things we are going to be involved in. And as you continue debating on what is the outcome of Limuru 3, we are again planning another meeting, perhaps early in the month of June or immediately after the budget, and it's likely to be either in Nyeri or Nakuru.
Here's the thing. When we began, you said that you organized the meeting and those you expected to come came. What was the aim of this meeting? Because the people from Embu were not represented, the people from Meru were not represented, and these are key Mount Kenya counties. So who was this meeting intended for?
When you say they were not represented, what do you mean?
Well, we did not see governors, especially, I mean, the head of the counties, the governors from Mount Kenya regions, from these regions particularly in attendance.
Who you have elected abandon you, you represent yourself. And that's exactly what we wanted. We had people from Meru, we had people from Embu, we had people from Zaraka, we had people from more than 14 counties, including Kilifi and Lamu. They were there. So there are many people who have not caught up with where we are today. But those who will represent you abandon you, then you have a reason to organize yourself outside them, and that is provided for in our constitution. That's why I'm saying I will leave that to historians to continue doing it. We are on. We are now talking about our next meeting, so that again it becomes a debate across the country.
And so, I mean, and we keep wondering what really came out of it. And you say, of course, you've decided as Limuru 3 that you must organize yourselves and protect your people. Protect them from who?
From all the atrocity that can be occasioned to them. We have seen them. We have seen people losing their rad in Davivi because they thought that everybody else is okay with them. We have seen people losing rad in Lamu. We've seen people losing rad in Chinga, uko pande ya Nyeri. So, and again, I want to leave it to historians. We will, sooner than later, prove them wrong. They did not even expect the meeting to happen. It took place. We had we wanted 2,000 people. We had more than 4,200 people there. They thought we needed money to pay people to come. We didn't pay a coin. People came on their own account. And on top of that, while we were seated there, they heard that there was a 93-year-old man who was held in police custody for the last 3 weeks because he's fighting those who are trying to take the Davivi lad. They quickly organized something that has never happened. They quickly organized themselves into a Harambe, paid the police board, and the Mzee is out. They are always used to being given money. This time they came on their own and they contributed to others who did not have. So something is happening, but again, as I said, this year tusemi mengi, tutaendelea kutenda ile kidogo tunaweza, because we cannot wait and fold our hands and resign. We will continue doing it in our own way, in our small way, and we are happy. I can tell you, I am very happy with what happened and the outcome. I have been out in the countryside, na kila mtu anasema endelee namna hiyo. Unakuja ingine ni yarini. So if you are not yet there, wewe uko bado uko mambo ya 2022.
Okay, a lot of politics is at play here, and those who say, of course, that this is a political outfit mainly to seek relevance, because at one hand we heard it was, you know, for the Mount Kenya region, and now you're bringing in other places like Kilifi and Lamu. Before we move on, what really is the aim of even the next meeting that you say you will be holding? What is the aim of this meeting?
Pushback on Kenya Kwanza. A voice for the people.
Voice
and, of course, we have no business with the Kenya Kwanza, ourselves in government. They have mismanaged this economy within the last 10 months. And they have mismanaged us within the last 10 months. We'll also be reaching out to the other community. Our resolutions will be presented to other legions, those leaders who are who share the same kind of thought like ourselves, so that we eventually work together.
I'd like to get your comments, you know, Kioni, as this happens, because even the former president, Uhuru Kenyatta, has been roped in the politics in the Mount Kenya region, and he now is, you know, essentially in a tiff with the government over his office, and the official operations of the retired president are now resuming, essentially, after the government maintained that he must move to Nairobi's Nyari complex, which was used by the late President Mwai Kibaki. But the former president has been complaining for years now that he has not received the perks, so to speak, that he should receive as a former president. What are your thoughts on this? Is it a political move?
It is. That is a prerogative of those who are in power. The way they want to treat their former heads of state, that's their chowdy. I mean, there's nothing else you can do. You even yourself, ask yourself if you want to go and, I mean, it's ridiculous. I haven't had presidents being consigned to the former president's house residences. The style of every person is different. And he's doing well. If he's not given those perks, so be it. When Kibaki took over from Moi, there are those people who thought that, we need to take keys from Cabranet Gardens. And he quickly called Kimunya, called that guy of Ken was called Morogaro. He called the man from Embu. These names are being forgotten quickly. The bus Governor Kiraito Murugi, and he told them, can you quickly organize for a title and pass it to him? Yeah, you don't expect another person to go and live in that house. And that's the but if William wants to change it, I mean, that's okay. He has another 2-3 years to harass people, because that is just pure harassment. But you cannot restrict my freedoms as to what I want to do. If you don't want to give me a government house, I will move on. That's it. Again, history will judge you.
Okay, and very briefly before we wind up, your thoughts on the reports of a, divide between the president and his deputy, and we've seen the deputy president missing in action from about 11 state events in the last 2 weeks. What do you make of these developments?
More than a year ago, I said, and I remember I did a press conference in Nyahururu, Thompson Falls Lodge, and I said the William was done with Rigathi. So I'm not surprised. Rigathi will have to look for something else to do, and he might have to try and organize himself politically. But William is done with Rigathi. He's also done with the region, by the way. Let nobody lie to you. He's done with the region. And the fact that you have people from the region occupying financial or offices that deal with finances in this country does not, you are not put in office to satisfy the desires of your region. You are put in office because you have the capacity to help the whole country move. So the fact that nothing is happening, I wouldn't want to go to with that kind of a narrow thinking that because it's a Kamau must help the Mwagi and the Juna. That is not the way it should be. I think it should be different. And it was proved to us by Kibaki. He just put people in office. What we are still using today, the economic blueprint that was also used by Jubilee government, was developed by Anyang' Nyong'o. And if you ever try to stop Anyang' Nyong'o walking into Kibaki's office, you are going to be his enemy. He was never bothered about what letter starts with the name.
All right. As we wound up, Kioni, in the DP's absence in action from the public, we've seen the Azimio leader Raila Odinga, in state events and in the president's company. What do you make of that?
I said we are now moving. We will see what comes out of it. In politics, there is always that thinking that you are cleverer than the others, and that is why you never you keep doing what you should do yourself. Stop thinking about others. We are now doing what we can do. If Ruto and Raila decide to move together, so be it. It doesn't mean that we stop doing our politics. Again, those are choices that must be made by political leaders. But I wish everybody well. Whoever wants to underestimate or underrate some of those moves by some individuals, William thinks that he is very clever. Yeah, William thinks that he is very clever. He fooled Kenyans and fooled Kikuyus in Meru and Embu during the last 6 years now, maybe. But chicken are home to roast.
Okay, that is Honorable Jeremiah Kioni, who is the Jubilee Secretary General. Many, many thanks for your time this morning, Mheshimiwa. And with us in studio is Willie Kamau, as well as Kimani Mwangi, both of whom are political analysts. Gentlemen, before we take a break, let me begin with you, Kimani. Kioni was among the organizers of this Limuru 3. And when you keep asking, what was the outcome? What did you hear come out for you as, his answer for the outcome of this meeting?
No. Kioni says that what the meeting was purposed for, if I'm not mistaken, is to form a force to push back Kenya Kwanza, I would hope in Mount Kenya, and to be the voice of the people. And that is why I told you, it is not a Limuru meeting per se. A Limuru meeting is called upon when there is a consensus in the region, the entire Mount Kenya region, and if it is a Kikuyu thing, it would still be consensus among top Kikuyu leaders, all of them coming together and speaking in one voice about issues pertaining to the region and what they would want to see done. Come with the resolutions that are far-reaching. Like I've explained before, the resolutions of Limuru 1 was very clear that the mountain region is backing up the 2010 constitution. That happened. Resolutions of Limuru 2 was very clear that we were going to oscillate ourselves around Uhuru Kenyatta and help him get out of the ICC and make him the president or the kingpin. That was very clear. There was one agenda that leaders stuck to and made it come to fruition. When you look around in Limuru 3, there is no such agenda, right? It was rebranding of Jubilee, as Kamau is calling it. And Jubilee has been metamorphosing from being in Azimio, being left in the cold the party being taken away by those who ran into the government. So eventually this was Jubilee's final moment, transforming into Haki coalition and bringing the president back on board. Nothing big beyond that. It was a political formation of relevance, in my opinion. Kioni may circumnavigate around the whole issue, but that's the truth. And he's right, because the talk was all about blaming the Kenya Kwanza government on everything that is happening. But it is also good to state that what is happening is not unique to Mount Kenya, but to the whole nation, right? There are no set things by the government targeting the region per se. So when you come out crying about a region, and this 1 man, 1 shilling, 1 vote. I was asking somebody, we have Kikuyus over 10,000 in Mandera, by the way, people should know. So should the Kikuyus in Mandera ask for money to be taken to Mandera or in Kiambu? There are thousands of Kikuyus in Kisumu doing business there. Thousands of Kikuyus in US in Gishu. So where should the 1 man, 1 shilling, 1 vote go to? Right? Again, in all fairness, you know, we are all members of this country. We need to ask ourselves, do people know that Turkana alone is 35 times that of Kiambu? Because Turkana is 76 kilometers, 76,000 kilometers squared, and Kiambu is around 2,000. Do people know that you can take 35 Kiambus and put them in Turkana? And then you tell the people of Turkana, in all honesty, because we are all Kenyans, let's even for once assume we are not Kikuyus. So you tell the people of Turkana that you don't need to get the money you get. Again, you come and take the road network in Kiambu, small as it is, and then compare it with the road networks in Turkana. And Kiambu has more roads, right? In as much as we want more money, it is also good to be logical, because when you are the president, Kenya belongs to you, all of it, not a region, in as much as a region voted for you. People should know that Isiolo is about 30 times Kiambu. So, and money, in as much as money is meant for people, people live sparsely populated in this region, and you need to connect them to infrastructure. Even if it is roads where border can use to reach to people, but they need to be connected because they are all Kenyans. So when we push this narrative of 1 man, 1 vote, 1 shilling, we also need to understand that we don't live in isolation. It is what in actual sense that led us to 2007 affair, where it was very easy to unite all other tribes against the Kikuyu because of this kind of entitlement. Right. So these narratives, I think it is time leaders dropped this narrative, reached out to other leaders on the floor of parliament, tried to come up with a better solution, other than making it a Mount Kenya affair. Right. Kakamega is not... And
that really was the promise.
Kakamega, no, hold on. But again, you see...
do this in parliament.
Western, again, is a small region with high population, right? So why are the people of Western not so vocal about 1 man, 1 shilling, 1 vote? I think we also need, as the people of Mount Kenya, we need to be accommodating and understand that counties like Tana River, they are so big. Counties like Turkana, it's like you can't even fathom the vastness of Turkana County.
All right.
Like Turkana alone is in the length of like 300 kilometers, right? That is a lake alone, the length. So when we talk about these things, it is good for our leaders to remember we are all Kenyans, and that Turkanas are as Kenyans as Kikuyus are, and that we also need to, because they too can come up with a narrative, 1 shilling, 1 kilometer, and
right.
1 vote, like the people of
Northeastern
are coming to it. So we need to be accommodative even on these issues, and no, it is not a Mount Kenya issues only. Yeah.
Right. Let's hear from Kamal. You know, because I want us to wind up on this Limuru 3 issue, but we had the good member of Parliament, Gathoni Mushomba, actually attend this meeting, and I know you were there, Kimani. And she says she has received quite a lot of intimidation in the run-up to and after this event. And you hear Jeremiah Kioni there say, you can be having this debate on what the outcome was, but on the ground, you know, alliances are shifting and things are moving. Among the things Omushomba said is, you know, they must understand that Uhuru is a custodian of the people of Mount Kenya, that she herself has reached out and asked for forgiveness from Uhuru Kenyatta. What does that say to you in terms of the direction that Mount Kenya politics is taking?
Michelle, this is the fortunate part that we must pick from Limuru 3 or whatever that political gathering was for Jubilee. Should they have succeeded in their deception, today Jubilee would have been an overnight successful case, the biggest party in Mount Kenya, and having endorsed Uhuru as the region's kingpin. Okay? But Kenyans, you cannot hoodwink people twice. They saw it for what it was. Why are we having a Uhuru conversation? We cannot go back from where we are coming from. There are other well-able leaders. Like Kimani can lead the society. He can lead the community. If he comes with a roadmap to showing us that this is the economic path for the people of the mountain, follow it and, you know, perhaps money will rain. And I want to pass a message to Kioni as not as a regional member of Mount Kenya, but as a party official of Chama cha Kazi. We did not have an invitation there, so we do not know when he speaks about 300 parties. He said, was it 30 parties? That one, we were not invited. So I will also I'm going to write a letter to him, not to use the name Limuru 3 again, because it missed the whole essence. And I'm glad that Kioni has said with his own mouth that they succeeded to be a political conversation, at least for the last 3 days. The political conversation has been going around, whatever that was. And moving forward, when they plan other meetings, will they be Limuru 4 or Maragua 1? Or what is it going to be for the people of the region? And so I am glad that the meeting failed miserably to hoodwink the people of the region. I would have loved to see elected leaders from Embu, Meru, you know, Kambas coming together and say, hey, now we're in a corner, this is the way forward. Kenyans know that William Ruto has 3 more years in power. He can achieve so much in 3 years. Gathoni wa Mushomba is another whole different case because the Jubilee meeting was organized for Gathoni to carry the day. Why? Gathoni is speaking the language of the people. The language is gaining momentum, but we are not yet there. There is some hope for William Ruto. I'm not saying entirely that he will change everything, but considering the fact that he has 3 more years in power, the likes of Kinagathoni may also disappear politically if the region's politics is going to change. And that's why we are saying in Limuru 3 or whatever that was, we would have wanted to see someone like Kemani Ishongwa, Dendi Nyoro, those guys in government saying this finance bill is draconian because of ABCD. We have tried our part, and so people, we need your political backing to help us gain the attention of the president, because as far as we are concerned, he's not hearing what we are trying to tell him. And so that is why I'm saying people like Gathoni wa Mushomba, they also need to be very careful with that kind of popularism, because she's not also offering solutions, because I would want to see her giving counter solutions for the draconian bill, which is actually the conversation in the country. You can't tell me people are happy to be taxed the way they are being taxed. You can't tell me Mount Kenya is the only place that we are being overtaxed. This is a national conversation. And so the timings of Kioni were very wrong. Gathoni also need to be very careful so that she does not sink in a political oblivion if William Ruto and the guys in Kenya Kwanza decides the last 2 years, we are going to play politics of popularism by lying to the people we have fixed the country. Where does that leave someone like Gathoni? I think she's also in a dilemma because she's also doing a very good job speaking the language of the people. And the fortunate thing, or rather the unfortunate thing, is that our people have a very short memory. They hardly remember what you did for them when the political temperatures begin to rise in a country.
Right.
Let me finish by saying that whatever my brother has said about one man, one vote, 1 shilling is not a Mount Kenya affair. This is a fair distribution of resources, okay? We have places like the Mulembe Nation. This is the second biggest, most populous region in the country apart from Mount Kenya. They would also want to see fair allocation of money, but they are very quiet. Why? They also have their political ambitions and they know what to do with their politics until then. And that is why we need to join in this conversation and saying that the push for one man, one vote, one shilling should not be a Mount Kenya affair, because every other region will come together. An intention that was meant to be for good for everybody, every other region in the country is going to come together. Who do Mount Kenya people think they are? And so William Ruto, wherever he is, he's smiling, because that is the thing he's going to use against us. And again, do the people of Mount Kenya want to be in opposition?
All right.
While we have people in power who can solve our economic crisis as we speak right now. Is the economy bad just in Mount Kenya? No, there are also some economic expectations from the rest of the regions from William Ruto. So who says that William Ruto is going to be a two-term president with the issue of economy biting people like that?
Let's take a break. And of course, remember that the fact that Mount Kenya is hugely represented in government, in parliament.
In fact, we make
so you wonder where the problem really is. But let's take a break. We'll come back with the reactions from Kenyans watching the conversation when we come back. We'll also be taking a look at that widening rift between President William Ruto and his deputy, Rigathi Gachagua. And Rigathi Gachagua's allies now say, do not belittle the deputy president. They say enough is enough, and one of their many options if this continues. A conversation is coming up after the break. To stay with us.
Hizi ni filamu za kusisimua.
Swadakta, ulijuaje?
Filamu za kusimulia hadithi za mapenzi.
Nakupenda sana.
I'm going to marry you. Nitakuacha maisha yangu yote.
Are you serious?
Mafunzo mbalimbali.
Utu ulipo kwa utu. Utu ulipwi kwa pesa.
Ambazo zitakufanya utabasamu. Udondokwe na machozi.